From the continent of Africa, the beautiful land of Nigeria, destination Kogi State. This is Inside the Confluence, the land of many opportunities. Hello there, you are welcome to another edition of Inside the Confluence, your number one television and internet program. A program that promises to inform and educate you about happenings within and outside Kogi State. My name is Yunusa Gabriel Enemali, your host. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, the program is Inside the Confluence, your number one television and internet program. The program that promises to be the bridge between the government and the governed. On today's edition, we have Honorable Friday MAKAMA, the one that is involved in the State House of Assembly's attack. And today, if only you stay tuned, you will hear the detail from him. This is Inside the Confluence, your number one television and internet program designed to educate and inform you about happenings within and outside Kogi State. It is also a program set to be the bridge between the government and the governed. Remember, if you have not spoken or heard on this program, consider not heard or known. Showcase your projects, products, goods and services on Inside the Confluence and you will be glad you did. For sponsorship and advert placement, call Enemali on 0705 400 395. Inside the Confluence, where ideas meet. Viewers, like I told you, today is going to be explosive on Inside the Confluence. Of course, if you want to follow us, just log on to YouTube, Inside the Confluence on YouTube, and of course you're going to also see it on social media, especially the Facebook. Of course, we're also thinking of making sure that we hit the NTA and CTV in Lokoja. Well, I have in the house with me an honorable member. I will leave him to introduce himself. Sir, you're welcome.
Well, first let me quickly correct you by the name you call me. I am not to be addressed as honorable. I have a valid resolution of Kogi State House of Assembly for me not to be addressed as honorable, but instead Comrade Friday SANI is my name.
Okay.
And I want to remain with that name until I leave Kogi State House of Assembly.
Okay. It's all right. Yeah, few weeks ago you were set to resume, to the house. And suddenly all we heard in the news and on the social media was attack on you. What exactly happened?
Well, in the first place, I want to also correct this erroneous impression that I was to resume. I had since resumed.
Okay.
On that fateful day, all I needed to do was to execute the judgment of the court, which was not in any way contested by the House of Assembly, who purportedly suspended me. So I think, as a matter of fact, I signed in as a first step of members to resume duty. I signed my signature, wrote my name in the register, already indicating that I have resumed. The House accepted me back and I had an executive session with my colleagues in the House that fateful day. We already start the business of the House of Assembly that fateful day in the Hollow Chambers, which is the second stage of legislative business before the House came under attack. So that whether I have resumed or not resumed is not an issue, because I have since executed the judgment of the court and I have since resumed. Even though the House later came under attack, it was clear that I participated in the sitting of Kogi State House of Assembly of that day.
Well, what prompted the attack?
I think the attack I can tell you authoritatively that originally it was not targeted at me as a person. But the reality is that the governor was no longer comfortable with the leadership of the House under Right Honorable Imam, because Honorable Imam, having been overwhelmed by the cry of the people of Kogi State, decided to go back to the reasons why he was elected to represent his people. Okay. And that was why he had no alternative than to yield to the cry and the agitation of the people over non-payment of salaries and lack of accountability over the bailout fund, all the bailout fund, the Paris Club refund, and the monthly statutory allocation that comes to the states. Was the reason why the House, under the leadership of Imam, agreeing with my earlier motion in February this year, that the committee, the purported screening committee, be dissolved and the state government, Kogi state government, be directed by this House to immediately commence payment of salaries to all workers of Kogi State without regards to race, without regards to color, without regards to tribe, and without regards to political party. Okay. That was the motion I moved earlier in February that led to the purported suspension, which the government of the day clearly showed their interest that they were against the motion that I moved. But sometimes last week, the House was overwhelmed by the agitation of the people. On my behalf, on Tuesday last week, the House unanimously resolved to invite the Accountant General of the state, the Commissioner for Finance, the Head of Service, to come and account for the bailout fund collected by Kogi State government under the leadership of Alhaji Ayabelo, vis-a-vis the Paris Club refund. So this invitation led to the whole attack. Because if I had not even come to the House that day, the attack would have still taken place, because all they wanted is to make sure that the Accountant General of the state is not asked question over the bailout fund and the Paris Club refund. This is the essence of the attack. But like you know, I am seen to be the man who initially pressed the trigger that led to the current exposure over the bailout fund and the Paris Club refund. Don't forget that when I discovered that my members were not taking, my colleagues were not taking appropriate action that I thought, I went to the Federal High Court to give an order stopping the Federal Ministry of Finance from releasing the last tranche of the Paris Club refund. This is because I felt that the condition precedent for the last tranche to be assessed by the Federal Ministry of Finance is that any state that assesses the first tranche must be able to pay all salary arrears in their state. And I felt that my state haven't failed to pay salaries of workers in Kogi State, does not have the morals and qualification to be able to assess the last tranche. I brought this to the notice of the House, and I felt that my colleagues were not doing enough, and I went to the Federal High Court on that matter. Okay. So seeing me that day, the impression of government is that this is the man who pressed the trigger earlier on. So let us first finish with him before we can think of moving forward.
Were the security operatives not there?
Yes, earlier before my resumption, I have been able to look at the security implication of my resumption vis-a-vis the disposition of the man who we currently have as the governor of Kogi State. Okay. And that was why I became very, very careful. I wrote to the Inspector General of Police to provide me security. Incidentally, at that time, the Inspector General of Police was out of this country. So the letter was referred to the DIG operations, who was like acting on behalf of the Inspector General of Police. So the DIG operations called the Commissioner of Police and told him reason why the court, the consequential judgment of the State High Court has to be respected, and he must provide me security to return back to work. The CP promised heaven and earth. I'm talking about CP in Alegunam.
Okay.
He promised heaven and earth to give me all protections. The only thing he requested of us, he requested of me, is to provide a vehicle, a Hilux, that will convey his men to escort me to the House of Assembly. And I told him that I already had the intention of fulfilling one of my electioneering campaign promises to the police, that I have a Hilux with an ambulance that I wanted to donate to the divisional police headquarters of my local government.
Okay, siren, with a siren, okay.
Yes. So, if you are looking for a Hilux to use to escort me, this is a Hilux I already designed for this purpose. He said, okay, I should send it down. That was how I sent the Hilux down to Vanda before Lokoja. And the men were really there to wait for me. They used the vehicle to escort me to the State House of Assembly on that fateful day. So, and when we're in the executive section, the Commissioner of Police appeared.
He came alone?
He came with quite numbers of policemen, because I peeped through the window and I discovered that he came with a large number of policemen. So when he came to the executive section and addressed members of the House, particularly the Speaker of the State House of Assembly. We were all listening when CP in Alegu asked the Speaker if there was any attempt for breakdown of law and order, or if the House of Assembly is under any form of tension. And the Speaker replied that to the best of his knowledge, the House is in joy for receiving one of their own back to the State House of Assembly, and that is not aware that there is any attempt of breakdown of law and order. Now, if there is such attempt, it has not been brought to his notice as the Speaker of Kogi State House of Assembly. But as far as the House is concerned, the Court of Law has reinstated one of their colleagues, and they have no alternative than to abide by the law.
We also saw on the social media the Commissioner of Police. Who invited him?
Well, the governor called him. The Commissioner of Police told us in the executive section that the governor called him, that there are strange faces, and those who came with me, the two vehicles, one of my backup car that came with me, were carrying arms and ammunitions. That was the allegation. But to clear all doubts after the speech of the Speaker, I said, Mr. Speaker, let us not conclude at that. If the Commissioner of Police have information that one of my vehicles is really conveying arms and ammunition, let me go with him, let him go and conduct search. And really, I went with the Commissioner of Police, went to all the cars. I said they should open all my cars. And the search they conducted, nothing incriminating was found in my vehicle. The Commissioner of Police now asked me to go back for my sitting, that there is no cause for alarm. CP in Alegu told us in the executive section that anybody without ID card will not be allowed, valid ID card will not be allowed into the State House of Assembly complex. I didn't know it was a strategy. Already that has been agreed in government house, and ID cards have already been printed to be given to the thugs to come and kill me. While we were in the House of Assembly, complex, in my presence, the special advisor to the governor on assembly liaison, one Honorable Haruna Yusuf, who eventually hailed from Odolu, my own community, was distributing ID card, new tag, ID card with tags to the thugs to come in. And right in the presence of the Commissioner of Police, the attack started on me before the CP asked me to go back to my sitting. 3 of the thugs banged my car and started destruction on my car right in presence of CP in Alegu. And in presence of CP in Alegu, one of them told me that they have come here to take me away and that they must take my life today. In presence of CP in Alegu. So CP in Alegu, his Assistant Commissioner of Police, started taking action in my presence. That who is this man that is issuing this kind of threats? They started going after him. Actually, they were pushing him to the gate so I can have a place, a way to just escape. So the whole thing started in presence of the Commissioner of Police. I have a video clip to back up what I've said. So this is exactly how the attack started. And while we were in the plenary, we had already finished with the items on the agenda of the day. The next item on the agenda of the day was to invite the Accountant General and the Commissioner of Finance to come and account for the bailout fund. It was at that point, before we could go back to the order paper to commence invitation of the Commissioner and Accountant General of the state, the House came under attack. That was how, when they started throwing dangerous objects from the gallery to the House. So instantly, the House became destabilized. In fact, the speaker, every member started running for their dear life. At that point, I didn't know that the soft target would be me that day. Because I was even feeling, because I didn't talk throughout the plenary. I didn't say a word. Well, I was watching my colleagues to see if they've been able to wake up from their slumbers. I didn't make a comment. So I never knew that the soft target of that day was me. So it was while the speaker was the security of the speaker were trying to escape with the speaker, I decided to take a cover of the speaker to go with the speaker. In presence of the security of the speaker, they held me and singled me out. About 10 men held me and singled me out right in the presence of policemen.
Thugs or policemen?
Thugs, well, I don't even know who is a policeman at that point because maybe some of them were giving uniform, I don't know. They started the attack with the police, with those who claimed to be on uniform.
What about those that were provided for you?
The CP withdrew them. Although with the current situation, the alarming situation of my attack, according to what I've heard, those who were given to me by the CP has given statement to the effect that they were not withdrawn. If they were not withdrawn, it means my case is very clear. Let them come and explain how I was attacked and how I was killed and nobody was arrested.
So when they picked you up, what happened next?
They started hitting me with different dangerous weapons and giving me all degree of injuries. So at a point, I collapsed. They thought I was already dead. They left me there to go and decide how to evacuate my corpse. At that point, immediately the heat became too much on me and I fell down. I was hearing what everybody was saying. And I was listening carefully. It was after they concluded that I was already dead that they went back to the gate where the Commissioner of Police was, the special advisor to the Governor on security was, and other senior officers of the police. It was at that point that they had another meeting and they concluded to go and check if I'm really dead or not. Before they could come back, I had already started recuperating. And what I did was to escape for my dear life before they could get back to me.
We learned Ahmed was involved. What role did he play?
Yes, Ahmed was one of those who came back with the special advisor on security and the ADC to the governor to come and confirm if I was truly dead. If I'm not dead, let it be properly finished. He came with them. Ahmed came with them. The boy from Ajokuta, the member from Ajokuta came with them. ADC came with them. The special advisor on security came with them. And Haruna Yusuf also came with them. With about 10 other thugs carrying axe. They came. While they were coming, I saw the number, I turned, I peeped, and I discovered that I can escape.
Okay, at a point, because on the bed, which the pictures we saw on the Facebook, we saw you with a boxer. How
Yes.
come you were not with your trouser, and what happened at that point?
They stripped me naked. And immediately they stripped me naked, and they thought I was already dead, because at that point, I was already unconscious. So they snapped my picture and sent it to the governor immediately that I was already dead. If you listen to the address of the governor, immediately that picture was sent to him. The governor pretended to direct the security agencies in Kogi State to go and fish out those who killed Friday SANI MAKAMA, because they had already concluded that I was dead. Look at the statement of the governor. It's very clear.
So how did you get to Abuja?
Well, for security reasons, I may not be able to say all how I got back to Abuja, how I escaped back to Abuja.
Okay.
But it takes the grace of God for me to escape back to Abuja.
We saw bandage on your head, your hand, your leg. That's a serious degree of injury. Would
Yes.
you say you escaped death by miracle?
The bandage is not even a show of what happened to me. There are several eyewitnesses who already saw me dead. Because I believe that I'm not an ordinary mortal. As a man who is fighting for the right of a common man, I know I will not just die by the design of a governor. If not, going by physical judgment of people, I really died. But by the judgment of God, I was alive. And that is why you see me alive today.
Okay.
You can even see the injury, all the injury on me had suddenly disappeared. To tell you that God was involved. All the injury on my head had suddenly, on its own, within how many days? Today I am hale and hearty. That is to tell you the level of involvement of Almighty God in my case.
Thank you very much. This is how far we can go with today's edition. Time is not always our friend, but stay tuned as we bring the concluding part of this interview next week. Till I come your way again, please remain a good co-guide, a law-abiding one for that matter. My name is Yunusa Gabriel Eleman.